a lot of these issues that we're having are all centered around dating. All the issues
No, I
seem
think
to
it's
be
relationship, not necessarily dating, but relationship, because we see these same issues among Black women interacting with each other.
Mm.
We don't know how to interact with each other, have respect for each other, have a level of understanding for each other. We can be very judgmental towards each other without even knowing each other. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a relational thing that we have a problem with.
I don't agree with that. I think it starts with relationships. Like we learn these behaviors in the home.
That's
We
what I
learn,
said.
but
Relationships, not romantic relationships, relationships.
right, but follow the thought process, right? Like if there's a broken relationship that's leading the example for the household,
Mhm.
that's where everything starts. Where those children now don't understand how to have a functional relationship. That parent is probably a single parent or an app. There's like a parent who's physically there who isn't active, right?
Mhm.
What how much do you think it's being instilled in those children to cooperate with one another, to cooperate with the children in the neighborhood? And then you take the relationship between the mother and father, right? And how that's trickled down, and then you add that to the houses around. I think it really does start with a relationship, because when that relationship fosters a healthy marriage, it fosters healthy children. And when that's replicated from home to home, it fosters a healthy community. I think relationships, and why we harp on it so much, it's the very root of all of the other issues that come from it.
Mhm.
Communication and conflict resolution, right? I just think we suck at that in general. Like, you will see the smallest things turn into a full fledged blow up, and then people would cheer it on because we love to watch a car crash.
Well, I
Like,
would say
it,
effective communication, because we
yeah, yeah, effect.
communicate. We communicate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, it's really not that hard. It bothers me when somebody can say it's more realistic to have a relationship where you fight all the time as opposed to a relationship where you don't ever fight. There's something wrong with that. Like at its core, that is a crazy thought. That
Because that's
that
what's been modeled, I think. I think that's the experience that a lot of people in our community have. So for them, that is the norm. That's the more realistic, because that's what they see most of the time. So when they don't see it, that's unrealistic. Like, okay, yeah, that one person, that's just that one example of that. So I guess that how do we I guess in that regard, if it starts in a home and a home is broken, then the question is, do we ever really get to a point that we make necessary changes to get to the point where marriage becomes a goal for the the community?
personal accountability. Like, we not gonna be able to fix people outside of ourselves. We just gotta fix ourselves, and then if everybody fix themselves, this whole thing will be done. It doesn't require you to go out and do anything to anybody else or for anybody else. Everybody just need to really fix themselves, or get in a communion or community where you guys can help fix each other. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is about negativity and anger, but it seems to be the most transactional. Like, it seems to be the one thing that we all can agree on how to engage in. It, it's really sad when you think about it. Like this, like your life could literally be blissful, and people think I'll be high all the time because I'll be floating. I'm happy in life. Things be going the way I want them to go, and it come from a mindset. And it's not exclusive to me,
Mhm.
right? Self-esteem is something that you have the choice to give yourself. And I understand that there are barriers that prevent people, like maybe when they were younger, they weren't affirmed or told they was worthy or valuable, or that they could feel good about themselves. But you might not be able to control your finances. You might not be able to control every sphere of everything that comes into your way. But if we're gonna be delusional, why don't we be delusional about being I'm a good person and I'm gonna operate from that. Even if you're the worst person, I'm a good person, I'm gonna operate from that. I'm not gonna go out here and slander other people. I'm not gonna attack people's happiness. I'm not going I'm not gonna see something someone else has and feel as though I should have that and become jealous. I'm not gonna exist in the jealousy plane. I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna find all the negative things in life, focus on them, and then internalize them and live a negative experience. We literally get to choose our life. If things aren't going your way, you can even choose how you view that, right? You could take a loss and view it as a lesson. And that lesson can be the thing that propels you forward. But if every loss is something to hold your head and sit down and soak in, you will be forever in that mode. And this life will seem miserable to you. Life is a gift. It's a great thing. At all times, you can experience joy whenever you choose to. Whenever you, short of a chemical imbalance or, one of those actual clinical disease, right? You have a choice at all times. Why don't people just choose to see the glass as half full and not half empty? Why don't people choose to, I can find the type of women that I like. There are a lot of negative women out here. I don't have to talk to them. I could just talk to the type of women or people I like. Why don't people just make that choice? Why do we wallow in misery? Why is that so comfortable? Why do people gravitate to it? I just it baffles me, right? I don't know.
Do you think people know if they have a choice? Like, you're speaking from a perspective of having that level of understanding, but what if you don't know that you have a choice, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but when you're in an environment and this is all you see, I don't think you think that it's a choice. I think you just move in the environment that you're in until you come to a point in which maybe you meet somebody or something happens that then puts you in a position to force change or know that now you do have an option or a choice. It was something that I was watching from I think it was Hardly Initiated. I can't remember who was on it, but it was some kind of a therapist. And this hit me so hard in a sense of recognizing she had made a point. I had wrote it down. She had said, healthy cannot live in a wounded environment. You can't nurture it. You can't get well in the same places that make you sick. And I think a lot of times that's exactly where our community is. We have a few that are healthy, but those few don't outnumber the ones that are sick. Like, how you go to a hospital, like when this whole COVID situation happened, you had way more sick patients than you had the doctors to fix them. And I think that's the state that we are in as a community. So how do, I guess, kind of what you're saying is having the choices. How do we change the narrative to put out there to allow more people to understand that they have choices to make different choices to have a better trajectory?
Before you
Yeah,
answer, Marcus, real quick before you answer, because I kind of want to add on to what Mistaken was saying. Everything that you said is spot on, but it requires self-reflection. And in order to look at yourself and acknowledge that you yourself are not whole, you have to know that you're not whole. So, and this just goes back to Mistaken's question: how do you know that you're not whole when everything in your environment tells you that you're just like everybody else because that's your environment?
It's so funny that never mind, I was gonna be off topic. Never mind, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I know like it's a taboo subject and I bring it up a lot, but that's one of the bases of where I get that beliefs from. Replicating, when you're saying there's more patients than doctors, right? That's kind of how I view the dating thing. There are good people that need to replicate, but it's not enough of them. How do you do that? It's literally like, how do you replicate the few into the, you have to, Y'all know. I don't even want to say it, but y'all know. You absolutely know.